The golden ratio is evident everywhere throughout the natural world and in ways we could never imagine, like the ratio of female bees against male bees or the ratio of different seeds from sunflowers. And perhaps surprisingly or not, the ratio is also evident in financial markets in multiple ways. And one of these ways is the Fibonacci retracement, which I will explain in this video, how to use it and what it actually is. It is important to first understand the concept of the Fibonacci sequence, which also results in the golden ratio and the ratios we will use in the technical analysis. So the sequence, as you can see, is as following. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, etc. So the next one would be 21. And the golden ratio is the quotient of two numbers next to each other, which in this case is 1.618 or 0.618 if you inverse it, so the other way around. And this is actually the returning golden ratio, and this ratio is translated into technical analysis together with the ratio 0.382 and 0.5, where some people add other ratios like 23.6 and 161.8, and these should all be seen as percentages. And there are multiple ways in which these ratios have been implemented in technical analysis and technical indicators. So I will show you some examples to give you a more clear idea of what the ratio is and what it does and what are the multiple ways in which it can be used. So the first example is a Fibonacci fan, and you also have Fibonacci arcs. And then lastly, we have Fibonacci retracement. And this last one will also be the main point of this video. Fibonacci retracement can be used in technical analysis to locate areas of support and resistance, as you can see in this photo as well. And it is mostly used in combination with other indicators and other forms of analysis. So I will showcase Fibonacci retracement in TradingView in a moment, but the essence is that you draw the Fibonacci retracement from one absolute low to one absolute high, or the other way around, as you can see in this photo. And after that, all the ratios can function as support or resistance, and the ratios are actually percentages of the move, so the move up or the move down in this video, or as you can see on this photo. And I will now show you how this works and the different ways you can draw the Fibonacci retracement. But before that, it is important to say that these ratios do not always provide support and resistance. They do not work 100% correctly. And you should explore for yourself how to make them work and if you want to use them at all. There are a lot of traders who don't even use them, but personally I know a lot of traders that do use them and use them in a profitable way. So let's go to TradingView. So welcome everybody to TradingView. We are in the chart of the British pound against the Japanese yen, daily time frame, and this is the picture you saw lastly. This is the first Fibonacci retracement I wanted to show, and as you can see, it is from an absolute high. I will zoom out a little. It's from an absolute high to an absolute low. Basically that means that there is no candles around it that are with a high that are higher and with a low that are lower, and it can also be two candles, it doesn't really matter. So I'll first go into settings. In TradingView you actually have all of the ratios that are used. I would recommend only using these, possibly this one, and possibly the minus 0.236. Those are just used the most, and since Fibonacci retracement is quite self-fulfilling, which means that it also works because a lot of people use it, and these are the most used, these are the most reliable. Personally, I don't use the 786 and the 236, I only use these three. I think they are the most used ones. You can give them colors here. You can also put a trend line in the middle, which is quite handy to find the dots. So I'll leave it. You can also extend the lines. That's good, but I don't use it. You can use it if you want to. So I will draw it again. You can find it right here. It's called Fib retracement. So I will put it at the top here. Then you drag it down to the bottom. And with most Fibonacci indicators you cannot do this, but with the retracement levels, which are actually just support and resistance levels, you can actually draw it way further. So I will draw it further than we did, than I did in the photo you just saw in the presentation. Now you can actually see that you draw it from a top to a bottom, and you can see that it goes up. It actually found resistance at the 382 level first, and you could have traded that, and here it finds resistance at a 0.5. Here it finds support, so it can also do that. So when it is top to bottom, it shouldn't always, or it is not always resistance. It can also break through resistance and then use it as support. Yeah, practically support and resistance lines or key areas, key levels. Here you can see it does not respect the 618. So that's a good example of that it does not always provide resistance in this case. And here it bounces off the 382, but you can see multiple instances where it doesn't bounce off. And that's why what I said, you have to, or you don't have to, but you have to find your own way of using it. So you can use it in combination with, for example, trend lines or the MACD indicator. And although the 618 wasn't respected here, it is respected here. So you should find your own way, because it does not work in one way. There are multiple ways of using it. The levels will sometimes provide resistance or support, sometimes they won't. We can actually draw it a little further. We can even try to put this one on, see what that will give us. Nothing in this case. So I'm just trying to show you what things you can do with it. So I showed you some ways in which it can provide support and resistance right there. And here I draw it from a absolute high and absolute low. So let's draw some more, just to give you a feeling of how to use it. Here I would draw it from there to there. You can also extend it. As you can see here it quite easily goes above the 0 point. And it only provided support once, but it did. And none of them did not provide support, but that's also because it only reached it once. And when this happens and it did not retrace further than the 382, so replay that in your head, you draw this and it did not retrace further than 382, you can actually extend it. So the same one from that same low, you can actually extend it upwards. Do like this, and then you can see that this level did not provide support, but the 382 did for quite a lot of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times you could have actually used it as a support, and then it breaks. And when it breaks this far, that you can actually draw a new Fibonacci, as you saw me doing just a minute ago, then I will remove it. And now to give you another example of when you cannot extend the Fibonacci. Here you can actually go from this absolute low to this absolute high, and then you can see that it does provide some sort of support at 382, but then it breaks, and it even breaks to 0.5, and then you cannot extend it like this in the way I do it, because there are multiple ways of drawing the Fibonacci retracement. You can also don't pay any attention to that, and just you look at this chart, you see what you see this as a low, and you see this as a high, and you just draw it that way. You can do that, but as you can see here, it does not provide really reliable results in this case. And you can try it here. Here, this is the highest, this is the lowest. Here you can see that it does provide some sort of support. So those are different ways in which you can draw it, different rules you can set, but make sure to find out your own rules as well. So I hope to have shown you now how to draw the Fibonacci retracements, how to use all of the levels, how you can see them, also when you can extend the Fibonacci retracement or not. And if you have any questions, make sure to put them in the comments and I will make sure to answer them as quickly as possible. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check out other videos if you want more education on technical analysis or financial things in general.